I've almost been married in real life for 20 years.
So you've had a few quibbles there with the wife every now and then. You're not as good as
sure,
but some of the other wives out there.
There's a little bit of, I mean, like another couple.
I've had better. I've had better. Good thing your wife doesn't listen to the pod, huh?
Did you know it was my wedding anniversary week?
I did not know that.
I thought that was a little nod.
Oh, I did not know. I would have full-fledged called you out if I knew that. So, so we at 20 years?
18.
18. Okay, 18 good for you. Weekend. Getting close. Way to go, man. I'm at 15 in a month from now.
I think we're going to make it. You guys, you going to get to 20?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. It seems like it's all going in the right direction.
You just went through the move, too.
I went through the move. I mean, I've gotten myself in trouble on this podcast
not
before.
Easy in the marriage,
okay, because I am, as I've told my wife, I mean, and I tell everybody, anybody that knows me, I'm very transparent. I'm not smart enough to remember all my bullshit, okay? So I can't bullshit because I'll forget it and then I'll become more of a bullshitter. And I've always told my wife, like, hey, listen, you're going to have to deal with me sharing things. It's just the way I work and I can't have a filter. And if you want me to continue to be successful and you want to enjoy the finer things in life, then you got to let me go. But it has gotten my ass in trouble a few times.
We haven't talked a lot about the wives so far, so I mean,
yes,
it is that time of the season. If you
yep. That's my wife, Danielle Pulio, aka Puli. We used to call her back in the day.
Trouble already.
I'll end it right there. Stanley Cup was awesome last night. I think we got to talk about that as sports fans, right? Yeah. I mean, first of all, Jordan Binnington, that's who we got to talk about. Goalie for the St. Louis Blues. I mean, for me, that's the greatness of like basketball, baseball, hockey. You know, one player can outshine a team at sometimes, you know, like or a hot pitcher in baseball, or you get Steph Curry gets hot in a game and you go, oh, shit, we're screwed. Here we go. Yeah. And that's what's cool because the first, 16 minutes of the game last night, Paul, the Bruins absolutely dominated. And I'm sitting there watching. I'm not a huge hockey fan. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know, but I just said, wow. I mean, they're taking shots. They got the puck. I mean, St. Louis is reeling, and this guy's just making save after save. And what does he do? A great goalie, a great player. They allow their team to kind of get into the zone or get into the flow of the game, and they kind of caught up, and then it was over. 2-0 at the end of the first period. So congratulations to them. It's kind of unbelievable that they've never won a Stanley Cup. Yes. I didn't know that until like 10 days ago.
Super cool.
Super cool. And
I grew up
really
in the Midwest, and we grew up Cubs fans. Right. So first of all, hats off to the Midwest. It's always fun to see that for someone from that area.
Right.
But also, as a lifelong Cub fan, and my dad passed away the year before the Cubs won the World Series, but to see a franchise that has never, ever won it in our lifetimes get it done, I think is just fun. It's good for the sport.
That stinks your dad passed away before. That would have been cool. Right? I mean, how much did he, Mr. I'm going to catch the foul ball and that, did he like...
Steve Bartman.
Yeah, Steve Bartman. Thank you. I couldn't think of his name. How personal did that get for your family at the time?
He was such a baseball nerd that he was mad at one of the Cubs' middle infielders for not making it out earlier in the inning. He blamed it on him because had he done his job, the whole
ripple
thing
effect
wouldn't have mattered.
Yes,
so that's the way it went down in our house.
Okay, that's good. I'd rather that than maybe calling out the guy who's just paid money and drinking a beer and not paying attention to the situation of the game. So, okay, that's cool to hear. All right, we got a few things we're going to hit on. We're going to continue the Chris Sims quarterback countdown. That's coming up. Few things in the news I think that are just worthy of discussing a little bit. First thing is, anybody paying attention to football, the Texans-Patriots feud that has gone on here over the last few days,
Interesting how that started, supposedly.
Very interesting how it started. And again, I don't know all the stories or the facts of the situation here. I'm not a guy that's here trying to break news. The way I operate is I hear these kind of stories, and I don't call friends and people right away and go, oh, give me the scoop because I got a pod tomorrow. No, at some point over the next few weeks, I'll talk to people and I'll figure out exactly what happened. But, just odd one because Billy O'Brien was such a valued, member of the Patriots organization. And I think there's great respect there for him as a person, a coach, everything he does. But, two, Nick Caserio, who is really the acting GM of the Patriots, but doesn't have the title because that's the way the Patriots work. And we know Bill is calling the final shots at the end of the day. It's been talk that, of course, the Texans want to interview Nick Caserio, and they put in the formal request to do that. And, if you made me put money on it, I would go, yeah, Nick Caserio is going to be the GM down there. And people talk about Billy O'Brien. Oh, he's hard to get along with because it's been 2 GMs now that he hasn't got along. Yeah, Billy O'Brien's not going to be happy until someone from New England is there to do things the way he saw them done when he was in New England. And, of course, New England has 18 years of dominating the century to this point where he goes, look, what they do is the right way, so he wants it done that way. I get that. But Now the Patriots file tampering charges on the on the Texans, excuse me, which is very interesting. And I don't know how this went down.
Did it stem from the ring ceremony party last week?
That seems to be
supposed
the common
interaction there.
Right. Jack Easterby, who has played a big part in the Patriots organization over the last few years, has moved on to the Houston Texans and apparently already has a very strong voice within that organization as is. Well, they had the ring ceremony last Thursday. Yes, the complaint by the Patriots was filed the very next morning.
Yep.
So I think that leads a lot of people to think, ooh, something went down at that dinner.
And their old
that
GM
night.
got fired the next day too, right?
And yes, Gaines got fired the next day too. So yes, it makes everybody believe that something went down that night, and maybe something did. Maybe we don't know that. Maybe there was a conversation that went on between Nick Caserio and Bill Belichick, or Easterby and Bill Belichick. Either way. I think Nick Caserio is going to end up in Houston regardless. I do. I think they're going to make him the GM and give him the full power of being the GM and not just the de facto GM like he is with the New England Patriots, where he's going to run free agency, the draft, and certainly have a big say of the 53-man roster along with Bill O'Brien. But it seems like to me, again, Bill Belichick, from everything I know, knowing him, being around people, he's not a hater. He's not a guy that's looking to squash careers, right? So if you're given the opportunity to go and further your career and you're going to get more power and authority and have a better job, he's always been willing to let guys go out the door and do interviews.
You don't think he would stand in the way of this?
I don't think he wouldn't stand in the way of this. But to me, what it just reads like right now, reading between the lines and everything, it seems like it looks like there was a conversation that, hey, the Texans they want to interview me. And did this conversation go down the lines too long to where Bill here talking to Nick Caserio or somebody realized, oh, wait, they've discussed this more than I thought already. This is more than, someone coming to ask permission to interview my head, pro personnel, a de facto GM guy. This sounds like you guys already have some of the nuts and the bolts of the situation figured out, and you haven't even asked my permission yet. And I can see that pissing Bill Belichick off. So that's where I think it goes to. I think eventually, because Bill O'Brien and I think Nick Caserio wants to be that GM at some point in his career. I mean, he's phenomenal. He's so qualified for the job. I do think some agreement, and Florio was the first one to kind of float this out there, and I can envision that happening. Some sort of agreement, whether it's draft picks, mid-round picks, whatever it may be, a swap for the GM, because now, it does look like the Texans might have broke some rules.
If it does turn out that way, where eventually nobody's standing in the way, Caserio ends up in Houston, Bill this season would be acting defensive coordinator and then just officially acting GM in addition to head coach.
Well, I mean, that's where, the other name you hear being thrown into the Texans GM conversation is the head of the pro personnel for the New England Patriots, Monty Ossenfort, who is a phenomenal guy that I would vouch for as well. I would expect him to take over Nick Caserio's duty, right? But yes, I'm kind of intrigued to see how this works for the Patriots this year. Coaching staff all over the place. I mean, and Bill's calling plays. And yes, again, he doesn't have the relationship with Monty Ossenfort that he does with Nick Caserio. So that could put more work on his plate too. So I think that's all an interesting dynamic. I just wanted to kind of talk about that, throw it out there. No, again, not factual, nothing out there, but it's just interesting nonetheless, because it is the Patriots and the Texans, and I always thought there was such a healthy respect between the two organizations.
Right.
Other thing I'd like to talk about, Daniel Jones.
It's an amazing situation how the range of mood
is changing slowly
Daniel
a little
Jones.
bit. Right.
This last, so what are we? We're June 13th. The last 2 months.
Yeah.
You have people who love the Giants. I mean, basically wanting to give back season tickets. How dare they think about drafting Daniel Jones so high?
Right.
And I don't know if it is the same people. I'm assuming that there's been some crossover. Now they're so excited because a positive report comes out of minicamp.
Yeah, right. And this is why I wanted to hit on this a little bit, because again, I understand where I valued Daniel Jones, and I'm not backing down from my evaluation. I would still like people to know that I'm rooting for Daniel Jones. I'm not like here going, oh, I hope he proves me right and just f***ed up.
You said that the day after the draft. This isn't a brand new thought.
No, this is not. I don't want to be that guy.
Right.
I'm not here sitting trying to root against people. It's too hard to play quarterback. I've been there. I know what it takes, the work ethic, everything that goes into it. So I'm never going to be a hater along those lines. But you hear the reports, and of course, hey, just like I said with, as I start to hear reports and things go by and it's the offseason, you start to talk to people. people. Yeah, I talked to a few people in the Giants who just gave these like glowing responses about Daniel Jones. And I had told some of my producers here at NBC this before even Pat Shurmur, who this week made some comments about the situation. And I think that's where we'll go to first. We got these comments, and I'd like everybody out there to listen to this first, and then we'll talk a little more.
We're going to play the very best player, and I know we're dancing around the words there, but right now Eli's getting ready to have a great year, and Daniel's getting ready to play. And, you just see what happens with it, But, we feel good about where Eli is. He's our starting quarterback, and we've got a young player that we think is going to be an outstanding player, getting himself ready to play.
Shocking statements. I mean, it's the first time I've ever seen the door cracked in the Eli Manning era to go like, there's some room for somebody else here other than Eli Manning.
Right.
And, he says, hey, we're using some cryptic language. No, you're using cryptic language. Just say competition. We're not going to the internet's not going to blow up.
Right.
So, and I get that. He's trying not to cause a stir and make it a media circus and all of those things. But, I'm shocked to hear those statements at this point because I am one that I thought Eli would have to fail a few times at the start of the season for them to, pull the plug there and go Daniel Jones. But, okay, I told you I heard, things before this little press conference with Pat Shurmur about Daniel Jones.
He was doing well.
I was doing well. And the first few people I talked to, I was like, oh, this could be just Giants propaganda. I don't know about this. So I made some other calls to people who didn't have a vested interest in the situation as much. And, some of the things that I heard, like best rookie we've ever had in here, it's been that impressive. And, I'll go back to something I said, I know, during the draft process, too. Hey, this is going to be interesting, too. Pat Shurmur has to answer that question a little like that because he, one, they drafted the guy at number 6, so they want it to be positive. But two, from the things you hear, and the players are seeing this. And this is one of the things where I said this was going to be a problem for the Giants because they're going to go on the field every day and they're going to go, okay, it's Eli Manning, Daniel Jones. Stronger arm, Daniel Jones. Better athlete, Daniel Jones. Throwing on the run, Daniel Jones. Who's making more plays in practice every day, with their arm? Daniel Jones. To where if you look like you're just going Eli Manning right now and he's being somewhat outperformed or Daniel Jones is opening some eyes, you start to look like there's not competition on your team. And then you've already made up your mind in certain positions and it doesn't matter what anybody can do. And that could make a dysfunctional locker room. I think that's where you got to be careful, too, about how you speak. And that's why probably Shurmur answered the way.
The players see everything.
The players see it, exactly. They're watching practices. They're playing one-on-one. They're seeing the quality of the ball flying by their head and all those things.
So a couple of observations here. I kind of want to turn into questions for you. Look at all sides of what's going on with the Giants here. Pat said he's getting ready to play. He being Daniel Jones. Spoke very well of him. He said he's on track to be ready to play week 1. And people got excited about that. There's a difference between he's on track to be ready to play and he's on track to being our best quarterback week 1. I just want to point that out.
I think that's very good. Yes.
He didn't say that.
Right.
And I also, this is my main question.
Yes.
I think they're both going to have their moments. Okay. Daniel Jones is going to be better than people thought. He's going to have some really good moments in training camp, preseason.
Right.
Eli's going to be Eli. He's going to be steady. He's going to have times where he's really good. He's going to have times that he plays in a way that make people cry for Daniel Jones.
Right.
So in the middle to late August weeks, I'm going to say it's going to be kind of a tie. So in baseball, tie goes to the runner.
Yep, and that's right.
In this situation, if it's kind of a tie,
the runner's Eli.
Eli gets the nod.
I think so. I do. I'm with you, too. I mean, I just can't. I got to see it to believe it. And I would think that you're right. I mean, I think what you're saying is for Daniel Jones, even though he's on track to be able to start week 1, first of all, you're exactly right. That doesn't mean he's ready to just perform at a high level at week 1. They're basically saying we could go into week 1 and he can understand the game plan and we could put a game plan around it to where we feel like we would give our chance to win a game. It doesn't mean he's... Right, go ahead.
Basically said we love his progress and his potential.
Exactly right. That's what they're saying there. But I'm with you in the fact of what you're saying. Like, I think it would have to be a blowout. Daniel Jones has won, 17 out of 20 practices performance-wise. Then maybe you start to hear Daniel Jones might be able to be week 1 starter. But if it's like 12-10 or, 11-9 Daniel Jones in practices, Eli's getting the advantage. 12-8, it's still going to be Eli. I mean, yeah, it's going to have to be a blowout where Daniel Jones really dominates the competition, I think, for the Giants to make that change for a week 1.
And it brings me to another observation or point, and those of you with us on YouTube, you see him passing in helmets and shorts.
You can see in these throws here, the quality of the football is not the same.
Certainly gifted, but that's what most practices are these days. Like, you're not in full pad situations with a lot of contact. How many really difficult situations can they put these two quarterbacks in to really evaluate them to where the rookie beats out the veteran two-time Super Bowl champ?
Yeah, you're right. There's not going to be too many game-realistic situations you're going through. And, especially even when you're in team drills at this time of the year, the quarterback, there's no urgency. You're not afraid to pat the ball one more time because you're like, they're not going to hit me. Let me throw this ball down the field. Now, the one thing I was told, though, it was not like we're going to call these plays for Eli so he looks good. And, we'll call this set of plays for Daniel so he looks good. From everything I learned about the situation, they push the limits of both quarterbacks to see what they really have and to see what they're really realistically going to be able to ask of Eli physically as far as game planning stuff. So that was the one thing I was told, and that to me is a positive. Because then, yes, you can start to formulate your team and your scheme around it instead of just going, well, we don't know if he can really do this, but we got it in the playbook. We hope he can pull it off. That's not smart way to attack a season. Bill Belichick would never do that. So that gives me some hope that it's not being predetermined, that they're going to let these guys go out there and compete a little bit, and we'll see where it shakes out. So that's really the big news of the week. I think we kind of hit on it all. Now we can get to the countdown.
Yes, the real news.
The real news, right. And we are on number 18. But before we get to number 18, we're going to address some questions about number 19, which was Jared Goff for me.
Yeah.
Okay, and I knew I was going to take some heat here. I mean, I take a lot of heat about Jared Goff all the time. So I know we're going to get to those. And, again, I sit here and I do my best. It's really hard when you get to like 8 through 20.
These guys are all good.
Because they're so good and you're nitpicking, okay? This is the one thing I'll say about Jared Goff before I answer some of these questions. Hey, when you get to my top 10 or you look at the top 10 quarterbacks in football, I'm just going to say this flat out. Really, and maybe the top 12, there's just no way I can put Jared Goff in the top 10 or top 12. I think if I measured him up to those quarterbacks and we sit here and had a conversation versus him and the top 12 quarterbacks as I see in football, I don't think it's even a discussion.
I don't think I would put him in the top 12 either. But my question is, what's your number one reason that you don't have him in the top 12?
Yeah, my number one reason for not having him in the top 12, and that, to further what I was saying, hey, listen, if you want to argue me that he's somewhere between 13 and 19 and you don't agree with my number 19, that's fine. But don't come in here trying to tell me, like, he's the 7th best quarterback in football. No, you lose all credibility with me with that kind of bullshit, all right? He's not. Now, what it is, hey, listen, there's things I like. Again, he is, tall and long, and he's got long levers. He can make throws with ease, so I like that part of him. He's a solid athlete, but for 2019, he's an average athlete for the quarterback position, but can make all the throws. Now, the thing that I put a lot of, what do I want to say? A lot of, stock, into evaluating quarterbacks, and when you get nitpicky is, when the offense and players are not making plays for you and the system and the machine's not working, can you jumpstart the machine? Like we talked about with the goalie for the St. Louis Blues last night. Are you going to be able to make a few plays to get your team over the hump to win a game, or a game where your offense is really struggling, nobody's open, the defense is all over the scheme? Can you make a few plays with your physical ability or in a few throws or scrambles on the run to go, it's a different game. We're going to win even though we played a C-plus game. We're going to win because our quarterback was A-plus, and he pulled us through those 4 or 5 situations through the year that we would have been a 6-10 team, but now we're a 9-7 or 10-16 and going to the playoffs. And that, to me, is not where Jared Goff is at yet. He showed some glimpses of it last year, which is encouraging to me, but I don't think he's there quite yet.
So I think that one cynical response, or it's not even cynical, it's a thought that came to my head as you're talking about he can't jumpstart an offense, and I see some of that as well. However, I think we also need to point out the fact that they scored a lot of points. I believe they scored more points than any team in the NFC.
Yep.
They were well into double digit for wins. So when you talk about leading an offense to touchdowns, leading a team to wins, he deserves a lot of credit.
He does.
Are you saying, and there's nothing wrong if you are, that the system and what Sean McVay is doing has more to do with those points and wins than Jared does?
I definitely am, yes. And again, there's other quarterbacks benefiting from systems out there. I'm not saying this is the only guy in the football that's getting the benefit of the system. But yes, right now, I believe the system is making the player more than the player is making the system.
And it's a hell of a system.
And it is a hell of a system.
It's fun to watch.
And there's talent around him. And again, you know, I know it seems like I'm this horrible person because I'm making him number 19. I mean, yeah, he's the 19th best quarterback on the planet. I don't think that's that bad of a connotation to have next to your name. But regardless, yes, that's the way I look at it. With tremendous talent, system, they're a run-first football team, you know, and McVay has continued to build Goff's confidence to continue. You know, he's continuing to make him a better player. And even some of the quotes we heard this week from Sean McVay speaks to that. And I want to play that right here just so everybody can hear what McVay said on Jared Goff.
Any of the things or narratives that are out there, Jared Goff, as long as I'm fortunate enough to be in this role, hopefully this guy is stuck with me for a long time. So he's an outstanding leader. You know, people make a deal about the system, and he's the reason why. Our players are the reason why the system is what it is, because he can do so many different things. And really, when you just look at the confidence we have in him, Gary, taking steps from year one in the system to year two, just thinking back to last year, how confident he was, and now I think it's even that much more this year. He's got true ownership, great ability to communicate with his teammates, and with him leading the way, we feel really good.
And whether he's ranked 4th, 14th, or 24th, I think that says a lot about what they have, the number one thing in that organization.
Sure.
Just like Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Kyle Shanahan wants to have it with Jimmy Garoppolo, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. When you have head coach, quarterback who really think a lot of each other like that,
right.
I mean, that's gold.
No doubt about it. And he can win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. I don't doubt that one bit. You know, that's, again, we put the quarterback too much on the pedestal. We've all, for some reason, in everybody's brain that follows football in America right now, if you don't have one of the 5 best quarterbacks, you can't win a Super Bowl. And that's just not right. That's an incorrect theme. That is totally wrong. You know, again, Jared Goff, there was moments last year, NFC Championship game, the Chiefs game, the Vikings game, where there was a few plays where I said, holy shit, look at this guy making plays. Like, there's nobody open. He scrambles and throws a dime in the back of the end zone. And I go, okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I want to see. But then there's other games where I can go back and go to total vice versa. Eagles, Bears, at Denver. You know, the whole end of the season, really, except for the NFC Championship game. The last 5, 6, 7 weeks of the year were very underwhelming. And why? Because the run game didn't work. All of a sudden, the Bears cracked the code on the McVay system and took away some of the plays that, man, every time I've called this play as quarterback, I've thrown to this guy. He's always been open. McVay's always got him open. And now teams kind of figured out some of that stuff, and then it was, oh, shit. And that's where he becomes number 19 for me. There's throwing the football, and then here we are in year 4. My big thing with Goff is, yes, he's just got to make more physical, game-changing type plays on his own to jump up the rankings. You know, you can't miss Brandon Cooks wide open in the back of the end zone in the Super Bowl and throw a quacker out there. Yeah, sorry, you're not getting my top 10 with that type of throw, and I could show a number of throws like that with it. But, again, this is still a good player they can win with. And what did anybody expect Sean McVay to say there?
Well, of course.
You know, that's the other thing I'll just argue, because people are like, well, look, Sean, you know, I had a few friends, Sean McVay thinks he's great. And I said, yeah, he was going to come on and go, you know, the media's right. I mean, Goff, all these concerns, we got them too. You know, hey, if they weren't so concerned, they would already be getting the contract done right now. There has got to be a little concern there. There's got to be. But McVay's too smart to ever let that, you know, shine through the crack. He's going to keep his team on positive road as long as possible.
So put the period here on number 19. There has been kind of a harsh reaction from Rams fans.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You still live out there. My friends in LA who are stuck in the 405, listen to the podcast, call me and say, how does Chris not like Jared Goff? If I say he likes him, he just doesn't love him.
Exactly.
And this is the harsh reality when we get to this point of the countdown, where a lot of good quarterbacks are going to be in the lower teens.
No doubt about it. Yes, this is the quarterback golden era of football.
Yeah.
We have more studs at the quarterback position than ever before. Old, young, middle-aged, you go through it. Football's been the most popular sport in America for 30-something years now, and we're seeing the fruits of all that where, yeah, the best athletes in our country are going, I want to be a quarterback, and they start practicing and only playing quarterback from 7th grade on, and we got freaks like Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson and all these other guys coming up the ranks. So yeah, it's tough doing it. But you know, people also with the Rams, they get on me because a few years ago I got on, you know, when they were coming out with McVay was talking into Jared Goff's ear while they were at the line of scrimmage with the quarterback.
That's right.
And I kind of said I thought it was bull crap to do that. Listen, I wasn't just saying it was bull crap for McVay. I was saying for anybody in football who was doing it. But Rams fans really took it personal, like I was calling them cheaters. No, I just think that's against the spirit of the rules of the NFL. I mean, what's the point of preparation all week and all that? And this is not just McVay, Goff. There's a lot of coaching quarterbacks that do it. I would do it too if it was allowed. I'd be like, hey, sure, John Gruden or Bill Belichick, tell me what you think as we break the huddle. And I'd love to hear your 2 cents.
It's kind of like the NFL version of what they're doing in college with all the signs. They just look over and tell me what to call.
Right.
Should I run this play? Okay, let's run it.
Exactly, but I don't like that. I mean, what's the point of coaching somebody all week? And how do we – so now, you know, the mental aspect of the game and the mental juggling is part of the talent of the player. So – I don't love that. But all right, that's it. Jared, anything else we want to say? Does anybody else? Do we have any more comments on Jared Goff that we want to shit on?
I'm sure if we had open phone lines,
I'm sure we could do it.
And the actual countdown for today.
Let's do it.
Now we're in number 18.
Number 18.
Yep.
Staying in that state, we're going Derek Carr, number 18. Derek Carr, again, a really fine football player. I mean, hey, back in 2016, this is a guy that was in the conversation for MVP. I'm not so sure he might not win MVP that year if he doesn't break his leg. It's going to be that close.
How high would you have had him then?
Because
I mean, the 2015 season as well. I think if you add those two together, his touchdown interception was better.
He was
than
like
3-1. They were winning way more than losing.
Right, and he was winning games.
Yeah.
Like the 2016 season, you go back and look, and I don't know what it was, 6 fourth quarter comeback wins, something like that. Yeah, during that time period, he was top 10-ish for me.
He was 14 last year after an average season.
An average season. And I was still giving the benefit of the doubt of some of those years. But hey, the last 2 years have not been great. And I understand it's not all on Derek Carr. And last year it's hard to get an evaluation on him a little bit because the team around him was that crappy.
But you have to evaluate him somehow, and the wins are way down.
The wins are way down.
And his individual numbers are way down too.
They are way down too. Exactly right. And I think that's where I kind of went back with it. And I try to take into account the whole team along with it and everything. But I think at the end of the day, it goes back to like kind of what you're saying. And I'm not always going to just judge you on the wins and the stats. But the last 2 years, there's been less moments of Derek Carr taking over the game, like I just explained with Jared Goff. You know, a guy who in the 2015-2016 season, man, there'd be a handful of plays every game where I'd go, ooh, what a throw. Man, nice job moving the pocket and kind of threw that sidearm. Whoa, like that was awesome. Whoa, great touch on that throw. All of that stuff. So I was saying that much more. Now, the last few years, I know that the team and the offense has all been a little dysfunctional. But Derek Carr's been dysfunctional along with it. He's missed, some moments of where I want to go, man, you're Derek Carr. You got to make that throw and complete that all day long. There's also been too many moments of, just not enough big game-changing type plays. I think Derek Carr got a little, and this is something I clamored about last year, tried to be a little too perfect maybe for the last 2 years to me, where he lost some of his aggressiveness and his playmaking
Checks
ability.
It down a lot.
A little too many checkdowns, a little too many throws of, I'm just going to try to place it over there and let the receiver catch it, and we'll move the sticks, where I feel like 2 or 3 years ago, he would have came out and been like, oh, he's open, I'm going to rifle it in there. And now the guy caught it and he had room to run after the catch or whatever it may be. I think he's played very conservative that way. And I think he lost some aggressiveness in his arm. And I showed today on PFT a few throws where I went, like, this is the Derek Carr I want to see. But there was a lot of throws this year, the year before that, where I just said, man, this should be a 40-yard gain, but he threw the changeup when he should have thrown the fastball, and it got knocked down, and it was incomplete. Or the guy had a slide to get it. and it should have been a 50-yard gain. It was a 20-yard gain.
Because he was being safe?
He was being safe, trying to be too careful, too accurate.
A lot of times that's confidence. I don't know him well enough
I think you're right, though.
to pin that on him, but a lot of times it is.
You're right. It is. Because you're going, yeah, oh, this is big, and we're not good, and I've been sacked a lot, and damn, we haven't got our first down in 2 drives. Let me just get the first down and throw it out there so he catches it. Where, yes, if you're confident, you're just going, man, we're rolling, we're good.
Right.
I'm just going to rifle it in there. Bam, he caught it, and then he runs after the catch. And yeah, you forget those type of things that when you got the momentum and all that. So those are my issues with Derek Carr. But, hey, good athlete, throws it on the run. He's not like an athlete where I look at him and go, oh, he's going to scramble a lot. No, he's a good athlete like he's got great movement in the pocket. He's got a real tight, good motion throwing the football. He throws pretty spirals, and he is always looking to throw. I mean, at all times. And that's what I respect about him. But, yeah, I think even some game management situations last year. You know, I can go back to the Rams game in week 1, the Dolphins game in week 3, where, you know, the Dolphins game, I can remember it's, I think, a 1st and goal from the 8 or 9 yard line. He throws a jump ball up to the left sideline. He's get intercepted. You know, they end up losing that game, where I would just go, you don't need to take that chance there. It's first down. Like, just throw it away and see what else happens. He did that in that Rams game. There's a few other games to go along with it, but either way, that's where I have Derek Carr 18. Yeah. Derek Carr is one of those guys, though. Yeah, he could be a riser in a hurry. I mean, he has talent to be in that top 10 conversation.
Does he have a team around him that's going to allow him to be, we're talking about this next year,
I think he
13,
does.
12, 11?
I think he does, yeah, I do. I think the improvements they made on the offensive line, you know, Josh Jacobs at running back, okay, yeah, they lost Jared Cook, but you get Tyrell Williams from the Chargers. You get Antonio Brown. You know, they get Trent Brown at right tackle now to go with Colton Miller, their first-round pick at a left tackle last year. You know, I think I would be shocked if that offense isn't better and his numbers aren't better and we don't see more explosive plays just because of the talent around him.
So you point out some real reasons why you dropped him from 14 to 18. Let's look ahead. You talked a little bit about how much – it sounds like you like what they're doing there.
Yeah.
Arrow up or arrow down for Derek Carr?
I think it's arrow up. I do.
More likely that he goes in the right direction.
I do. I really do. I think, you know, being around Gruden for 1 year is going to help him and calm his nerves a little bit. He's like, okay, I know what psycho to expect on a daily basis. Of course, knowing the offense. And – hey, you know, again, we talk about Eli Manning's lack of protection. You know, I just want to go like, man, if Eli had to play in Oakland last year, you know, Oakland's pass protection was absolutely pitiful last year, let alone, hey, he has been banged up the last 2 years too. And I try to take all of this into account. Like I said, it's not easy. But, yeah, I would expect this to be a huge year for him. And if it's not, you know, I do wonder what happened.
He's still around.
I do. You know, I do. I don't know if it's necessarily right to say that or if it's exactly the right time to pull the trigger on that. But I know the guy that's coaching him there, and if they don't win and he doesn't play well, he can get very antsy with that position. I
think you can look at 2 things and point to that outcome. If it's another losing season and he's average or takes another step back, even if the team around him isn't better. The head coach wasn't there when they took him. The GM wasn't there when they took him.
No, I know. But I know. You're right. That's always scary. Now, the offensive coordinator, Greg Olson, was there when they drafted him as the quarterback coach. And Olson's very close to Gruden. And I really feel like Gruden would have only taken that job if he felt like, ooh, I think this guy has a chance to be something. But, you know, this to me, I think speaks a lot to what it is. And I didn't even really think about this and didn't plan to say this. But, you know, the Raiders, hey, they moved the ball a lot last year. That was not a problem. I mean,
what are you looking at?
I was going to look at just some stats, but I can't even figure out where the hell I am. I wanted to look at just to see where their pass game stats were totally exactly. But, you know, I don't care about stats necessarily. You know, okay, 18th passing team in football. The numbers, I just want to see, okay, you're at the 15-yard line. That's quarterback time. It's time to, let's score 7. Let's not settle for 3.
Right.
You got to make a big throw or buy time in the pocket and make it. And I think those are the little things I've missed from Derek Carr as compared to maybe the 2016, 2015 season.
I think his yards per attempt, and I don't know if you can find that, but to me, yards per attempt would say more than passing offense, because these teams that get behind by a lot, they can have a lot of empty yards.
No doubt.
Yeah,
you started. It's 6.2. It's low. It's very low. It's in the middle of the league, basically. It's at 18, actually, right there. Yeah, but I think there's something to that. You're right, because you got Sometimes the stats look like that, yeah, because you're down by 20 in the fourth quarter and you keep throwing check downs and things like that. And okay, your bottom line stats look good when it's all said and done, but you really made no plays within the competitive nature of the game to do that. But either way, that's 18. That's Derek Carr. And please send in your comments. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss. We'll figure it out. I'm not afraid. Here we go.
Exactly. 18. Yep. 17's also in the AFC.
Yeah.
Even younger.
Even younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
quite a bit younger.
I know we haven't seen a full season of starting, but Baker Mayfield's my number 17 quarterback. I've seen enough from Baker Mayfield to say that he is better than Derek Carr or Jared Goff going into the 2019 season. Yeah, I do. I've seen enough. I mean, I don't really look at Baker Mayfield and look at really many weaknesses in his game other than being inexperienced and a rookie and not having played a full season. But, like, as far as, okay, physical ability, it's off the charts. His arm is big time. His ability to improvise and make those plays, big time. He has this crazy sixth sense, eyes behind his head for a smaller guy, can dance around the pocket and still see downfield as good as anybody's ever seen. I mean, he's like making people miss, but also watching the deep crosser go across the field and then sets up and throws it. And I'm like, wow, how did he even get his eyes up in time to do that?
Right.
So he's got a great ability there. Throws the ball on the run, phenomenal. Can certainly run and get a first down if you want. You talk about the leadership, all of that stuff. The aura he has created in Cleveland.
It's incredible.
I'm putting that into the stock a little bit. I mean, we've heard it. We've talked about it so much. I think all of that. The negatives really go to just being, okay, yeah, was he a little over-aggressive sometimes last year? Yeah.
But in the way you just described Derek Carr, that's a refreshing negative.
That's the refreshing negative.
Being
He's going
aggressive.
out there trying to win the game. Yeah. I'm gonna put pressure on this defense every time I drop back to pass. I'm really never gonna look to settle for the underneath throw. And you know, there was a few times where, that came back to bite him in the butt. Yeah. But he'll learn to gauge that as he gets a little more experience to go, okay, last year I might have thrown that, 25-yard deep cross into that coverage. I learned that's tight this year. I'll check it. And it's just those few plays that he takes away, and then you're going to see the stats are going to go off the charts.
It sounds like you're describing somebody, like if I remove the number that's in front of my face,
yes,
in the top 10. I've got a lot of notes for all these other guys that are around Baker. I have one thing written down for him.
Yeah.
I thought you'd have him higher.
I wanted, like Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, I think are the ultimate guys where I can look at and go, they're top 10 talents. Mm-hmm. They have the ability to be that guy. But yeah, I got to see just a little bit more before I'm going to throw them in the list. With some of the quarterbacks, when we talk about top 10, you're going to go, yeah, it's kind of hard to put him in front of that guy. Yeah. That guy did it last year, the year before, and we expect him to be still good. It goes back to there's a lot of good damn quarterbacks in football right now. Mm-hmm. And yes, what is it, Baker Mayfield? 13 games last year? Is something right that?
13 or 14?
12, somewhere in there. Yeah. But yeah, so he could easily be a guy when we're sitting here doing this next year. Could be number 5 on the list. He has that type of talent, but I'm not going to just put him out there and make him a top 5, top 10 guy off of those games. I don't think he's at that level yet, but like a guy it won't take long to get to that level.
Right, and it feels like people are expecting him. Yeah. 17 is high for a quarterback from Cleveland, what we think about Cleveland Browns recently, but also with their expectations. I applaud you a little bit, this is after I asked you how come you don't have him higher, of like keeping him right there, like cautiously optimistic, because so many people want to give the Browns 12 wins right now.
Right.
And until we see a little more, and I'm on board with all the enthusiasm too.
Yeah, me too.
I saw everything from him and the team last year also, but I think that is a nice, safe spot for him.
Thanks.
I think he'll move up.
Well, because you and I both know it's easier to play in the situation he played last year. I came in.
Right?
We were already not good. No expectations. I could let it fly. I'm the number 1 pick. Tyrod Taylor's not the future here. Right. So I don't have to worry about losing my job to him. So you can go out to play. This year, there's the bullseye, like you're saying. We're all talking about the Browns. We expect big things, and that will affect the way you play. It's going to affect the teams that play the Browns. They're not going to just look at them and go, it's the Browns. This will be a down week for us. So all of that's going to change. And, that's what I need to see a little bit more of before I throw them up there in the elite class yet.
I've also learned, I don't know how many Thursdays we've been doing this now, 2, 3, 4 of them, that I'm separating mentally as I read through them. This isn't if you had your pick of quarterback to start a team in the NFL, This isn't that list.
No, he would be
he'd be in your top 5.
Without
probably.
a doubt. Without a doubt.
Somewhere in there.
Yes.
This is performance, what they've done so far.
What they've done so far and where I kind of project them at now.
I've learned to draw the line as I read what you do the night before and come in here and talk about it. Because I know you like him more than that number.
I do.
It's a little bit of okay, let's wait and see. I like you.
Yeah.
Let's see what you do in year 2.
Just don't want to jump the shark there.
Right.
Him, Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, as I mentioned, they were some of the hardest guys. Because I looked at them and said, oh, wait, there's guys in front of them that they're more talented than. There's no doubt. I'm not saying that. They have more talent, but they're not as nuanced at playing the quarterback position yet. And that's why I can't throw them in front of some of the guys we're going to see here in a few minutes. You good there? 17, Baker Mayfield, we good? Did I rest my case?
I think there's some rookie season rankings that we're going to work in there as well.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. So, I mean,
I've heard about this. Let's take a peek.
Everybody's talking about Baker Mayfield's rookie season. And, of course, because I don't talk enough or have enough research to do, they wanted me to come up with the top 5 rookie quarterback seasons in the history of football.
And for everyone who can't see it, I'll go ahead and read it.
Yep.
And you can just pick it up from there. Number 1, Cam Newton, 2011.
Yes.
2, RG3, 2012. 3, Dan Marino. I think he should be higher. 1983. Andrew Luck at 4, 2012. Was it already that long ago?
Yes.
And 5, Ben Roethlisberger back in 2004.
2012 was a problem because it's RG3. And you know who else is? Russell Wilson's 2012 was phenomenal.
Right.
So that was hard. Dan Marino, I hear you, is very hard. I wanted to the reason I don't think I made him a little higher is because they were a good football team already. You know, they were a team that had been in the Super Bowl 2 years before that, I believe, right?
Yeah. David
We're in
Woodley.
the playoffs the year before that, right? So, and he had a phenomenal year, and he played 9 games. So Marino was amazing. But, you know, Cam Newton, just in my memory right away when I first talked about this.
You were in the league then, right?
I was just out of it.
Okay.
But I don't remember anything coming into the league like Cam Newton right off the bat, okay, where I just went, whoa. This guy physically belongs and is physically elite. And, whoa, he plays the quarterback position better than I thought, too. I mean, hey, Cam Newton, I don't give a damn that the team won 6-10 that year. They weren't that good.
Right.
I can tell you he was phenomenal, though. You know, when you throw for 4,000 yards as a rookie, okay, 21 touchdowns, 700 rushing yards, and another 14 rushing touchdowns along with it, that's epic shit. We never saw anybody come in the NFL and do that. And especially be like, not like, you know, oh, we tricked him to run the quarterback. It was like, Cam, we're going to send you right through the guard tackle hole, run up in there and make a good run or run over a linebacker while you're at it. I mean, that was mind blow emoji.
He's at the top of the list of guys, and we talked about sometimes you just have to be there to really believe it. You've got to see him in person, and preferably from field level, to get the full effect of the holy shit moment it is when you're watching Cam Newton play.
The size,
oh my God,
the ball whistling, everything about it. It is. It's a must-see event. So I went with him 1. The next year is RG3, which was a magical season. It was great. Where I'd give it, you know, where I don't go, I go Cam Newton over RG3. I do think RG3 had the advantage of having the Shanahan family with him to orchestrate some really creative schematical things, okay? They did go to the playoffs. He had a phenomenal year. But I just think like Cam versus RG3, and we just took their play. I thought Cam had the more special year. Now everyone's going to go, whoa, RG3 went to the playoffs. Okay, this team was better. Team was better.
There's a longevity. Like Cam has been good many years since then. RG3,
No, I know, but I just
did that influence your vote at all?
It did not. I tried because I thought about that. I was like, oh, obviously Cam, no, but I went just on the rookie year thing. And you know, we talked about Dan Marino 3. Hey, number 4, Andrew Luck. You know, people might go, well, how could you pick him over Russell Wilson? Russell Wilson also had a phenomenal rookie year. I just look at Andrew Luck and go, that also was not a very good team. Russell Wilson had a great defense, had the run game. It wasn't on him. Andrew Luck, from almost get-go, it was like, hey, buddy, got to throw for 300, 3 TDs today.
If you're not awesome, you're a failure.
Exactly. And to me, that's where you know me, I put a lot of stock into that. And then my 5th one with Big Ben. You know, Big Ben was not, you know, like mind-blowing taking over games. But one, I do think
he was awesome.
He was awesome.
He really was.
And he set it up for guys like Russell Wilson and RG3. Let's use the run game. Let's play this style of football. He was the first to do it. He went 13-0 as a starter, as a rookie. And I know they had a great defense and Jerome Bettis and do all that things. But go back. I mean, it still was making some big plays and some big moments, too. I mean, I can remember Bill Parcells said he was the best rookie quarterback he had seen since Dan Marino at the time. So there was things being thrown out.
He made a significant difference. He made them a lot better.
He did. And then he's the only rookie quarterback, I believe, to go to, since the merger, to the AFC to the championship game. You know, and again, I know there was a lot of help there, but it is what it is at this point. 13-0 and still had good stats, took care of the football, and made plays at the proper time. That's why I put him 5.
Nice list.
Thanks, man. Matt Ryan was an honorable mention.
Really?
Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Yep. Dak Prescott was an honorable mention, certainly. I mean, 13-3. You know, he won Offensive Rookie of the Year, and that was wrong because the running back should have won it, Ezekiel Elliott. And Baker Mayfield would be another guy that was there. But I just don't know if I could quite put him into the list of these guys. Like Baker Mayfield maybe would have been 6 or 7, right along that. It was a great rookie year, but I think these guys may have outshined him a little bit.
Do we have any other lists worked into the main list that we can look forward to?
We're going to do a list of the other list of the other list?
Is that it?
I mean,
that's it for the side list?
Holy shit list. Holy shit list.
Back to the main list.
Yes.
If you're ready.
I am ready.
Okay, so
you know what I want to ask you first?
Yeah, go ahead.
What's your porn name?
What's my porn name?
Yeah, do you know how porn names work?
Yeah, so my understanding is your middle name and the street you grew up on.
Exactly.
This is not made up. This is for real.
I love it.
It's actually
I can't wait.
So middle name is William.
Right.
I grew up on Grand Avenue. William
Grand. I love it.
Pretty strong, right?
I had a friend growing up who was Patrick Grandview. So that's great.
This is better. I'll take mine, yeah.
Grand.
Yeah.
Were you Bill? Would you go with Bill or William?
I've never, from my middle name, I've never.
Willie Grand might be great.
Could have switched it to Willie.
Willie Grand.
Big Willie Grand.
Big. I was David Stonewall, okay? Just so you know. It
doesn't really do it.
No, it's like got the cheeseball factor, but it's not. Now, my wife, on the other hand.
I'm guessing Stonewall Avenue was nice.
Stonewall Court. Stonewall Court. Yes, it was. But it was good. My wife, she got a good one.
Yeah.
She's, as I told you, she's Danielle Marie Pulio is her maiden name. She grew up on Saddleback Trail, so she's Maria Saddleback. I love that.
That's pretty good.
You know what? You like to get on the old Saddleback, eh?
Yeah.
All right. So I just wanted to bring that up because the next guy we're doing, and don't reveal it yet, okay? His man parts get mentioned a lot nowadays, okay?
You pointed that out to me.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, there's Big Dick Nick is everywhere, okay? But now to go back to the PG-rated version of this podcast, at number 16, quarterback Nick Foles of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Putting Big Nick right there.
Was his nickname part of the ascension? Because he was 33 last year.
He was. I know.
It's a massive jump.
It is a massive jump. But I think he did enough, you know. And in that list where I had him at 33, that was made before he went on the Super Bowl run. Right, so I didn't do that, and I came back with a readjusted list last year, but we never got into the 20s, right? Just kind of did my top 20. So yeah, I think realistically going into last season, he probably would have been somewhere in the 20s. But yeah, I think from what I saw the last 2 years combined, I'm going to put Nick Foles right in the middle of the pack in the NFL right now. The biggest thing and his best attribute to me is his size. That's where I start with Nick Foles.
We're talking about.
No, we're talking about actual man here. The actual player, the quarterback. Yes. His size is truly his best skill. And I know you've heard me say it before. Size is a skill, and especially at the quarterback position. And that's where I go number one, because even this year, there were games where they didn't protect him all that great. He is so big and so unaffected by Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack being around him that he can throw with people around him as good as anybody in football. And, hey, the game is about throwing under pressure. Whether you're going to move from it or get the ball out of your hand quickly or be a dancer in the pocket to avoid it, you know, you got to have something that helps you in those situations. Nick Foles, he just goes, I'm going to be fearless. I'm a huge 6'7" quarterback, and I don't care that people are getting pushed into my face. I'm just going to stand in there and make throws. And I think between that, he can make every throw. He's a good athlete. Again, like Jared Goff, he's below average athlete for 2019 quarterbacks.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he's drafted in 1999. We go, whoa, this guy's an exceptional quarterback. The bar has changed as far as that's concerned at the quarterback position. But we saw to win the game in Chicago, sprints out right, drops his arm down low, right, throws it underneath the armpit of William Floyd, I believe, or Leonard Floyd, the linebacker for the Bears. So plays like that, the clutchness, the ability to be accurate down the field throwing the football, to make those few throws a game where I go, man, there was nothing there. He had pressure in his face, and he throws a ball 20 yards down the middle of the field, 9 feet off the ground to only where Alshon Jeffrey can get it, and they get it, and they get the first down. I just seen too much of that the last few years with Nick Foles. To go, it's phenomenal in that way. And those are really the positives. Hey, some of the negatives, not always the quickest feet, okay? It's not like this big-time, gigantic, great arm. It's a good arm, but it's not a great arm. And, you know, part of the other negatives, too, we're talking about a Super Bowl MVP, is we really haven't seen it sustained through a season here the last 2 years, too. So that makes me knock him down a few spots just for that as well.
You mentioned Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
And as strong as he was in that game, and I think as much hope as there is, and he's leading that way in Jacksonville, the first thing I think of with Nick Foles still, 27 touchdowns, 2 picks in 2013.
The Chip Kelly year.
Phenomenal.
Right. And I think what shows with Nick Foles is not necessarily a talent that's going to be like, hey, jump on my back, guys, and I'll take over. Okay, he's not that guy. I mean, we saw that at the early start of the season last year. You know, the Eagles weren't playing well, and they decided to go with Carson Wentz because they weren't playing well. And I mean, Carson Wentz is the future, but I also think they got Nick can't get us out of this funk. Carson might be able to pull some magic and make things happen. But what Foles has shown is when you do have a system around him and an offensive line and just some good receivers, he can be deadly that way. And I think that's what I would say watch out for in Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's got a very similar mold to the Philadelphia Eagles.
And if you have him this high, I think you must really like the fit.
I do.
Of what he's walking into.
I like the fit, and that's where I was just going with that, because big hulking offensive line, just like the Eagles. Really want to run the ball first, just like the Eagles. Oh, you want to crowd the box? Well, we got RPOs, and Nick Foles can stand in the pocket and throw deep post down the middle 65 yards and strike it if you want to, crowd the line of scrimmage and stop Leonard Fournette. John DeFilippo, he should know the offense. I think there's going to be a lot of similarities to what he did in Philadelphia. Hopefully DeFilippo will stay consistent with the run, which he didn't do in Minnesota last year. But, yeah, I think Nick Foles has at least proven that if you put a team around him in a system, he can maximize that. He's not necessarily going to be the guy that's like, oh, shit, we're ravaged with injuries and we got nothing, and we need you to be Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes today. No, that's not going to happen.
Who do you think his best weapon will be? Could be running back, could be tight end, could be receiver in Jacksonville.
Yeah, they got a lot of. And let me pull up their roster just a little bit, because they got a lot of guys that are like unproven commodities, but I think the NFL world would go, ooh, there's some talent on that roster. D.D. Westbrook for one.
Yeah.
Okay. Marquise Lee, right, off the bat. All right, so those are two guys where I go, ooh, they're better than I think the nation as a whole realizes. They haven't become household names yet. They drafted DJ Shark in the second round 2 years ago out of LSU. He's got Keelan Cole is there. They got Chris Conley from the Kansas City Chiefs in free agency. So, and they just signed Terrell Pryor. So it's good. It's not great. We're not going to sit here and go, oh, we got to double team Marquise Lee, or no one's going to beat the Jaguars. No, not that. They want to run the ball. They're going to impose their physical will, and they're going to use the tight end in the pass game a little bit and do that and play through their defenses, which they should do.
Yeah, if they can run the ball and play defense the way they want to, Nick can be fine. The receivers can be fine, and they can still get to double-digit wins.
I do. Jacksonville would be one of those teams, and if anybody listened to the podcast I did on Tuesday, I said if you want value bets for, and I don't even know what the odds were for MVP, I said like Garoppolo and Carson Wentz would be those guys where I go, if you want to put out $10 and hope you might win, $1,000, those would be guys I would throw out there. If you wanted to do that, I don't know what the Jaguars' odds were for the year.
Probably not real good.
I would say that would be a team I would bet the odds aren't great, and if you wanted to make a steal betting, I would go watch out for Jacksonville to be in the playoffs and be a major player in the AFC.
15, you finally made it all the way back to an NFC team. Hold on. I forgot about how we're going to tag
Don't
Nick.
say doppelganger with Nick Foles' name. You get me confused with what we're talking about here.
Yeah, it's a troublesome issue here at 16. All right, Nick Foles. Who looks like Nick Foles?
Oh, my gosh, it's Napoleon Dynamite.
That's
I never thought about that. There is. You're right. There's a lot of similarities there.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's really good. Kurt Abbott.
Okay.
Twins.
I see it a little. I do.
Yeah.
It's the same eyes and cheeks a little bit, definitely. Okay.
I had one contribution that I think is better. We haven't gotten there yet. Nate Sudfeld. This one got me pre-Super Bowl. I was out there talking to Nate Sudfeld. I thought I was talking to Nick Foles.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of quarterbacks in football are as tall as Nick Foles, and Nate Sudfeld, oddly enough, is one of those that's like up there at 6'6", 6'7". Yeah.
Yeah.
What an idiot you are.
I know. There's mine.
Oh, Tom Petty, I like it.
Tom Petty from the late 70s, early 80s. I think that's the Damn the Torpedoes album cover.
If he grew that hair out like that, you're right. There's a lot there.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
I'm proud. I'm proud of that.
Good job. Way to contribute to the pod.
Finally.
You're the man.
1,000 minutes in. Is that it? That's it. Okay.
That was it.
Save the best for last.
You've seen
Thank
Napoleon
you, Pete.
Dynamite, right? You've seen that.
Yeah. Who'd you like best?
I think the Napoleon Dynamite one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was close. I didn't even know the pitcher. There was some similarities.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I don't know if he.
But I can't say that I know him. So
I think he should have been on an honorable mention list.
An honorable mention
like
list.
The actual list.
And then you're obviously like Tom Petty because you picked
You have
it.
to. Yeah. The Napoleon Dynamite one was awesome. It was awesome too. Yeah.
It was. You've seen the movie, right?
Of course. Come on. Yeah.
It's been a while.
Am I forgetting anything else before we go to 15? Pete?
I think we hit it all with Mr. Nick Foles.
We did.
Yes.
Can we move on from all things Nick Foles?
Let's go all things to Nick Foles to
number 15.
Number 15, Kirk Cousins. Yes.
I have some questions here.
Kirk Cousins, he doesn't perform in prime time. We got to knock him down because when he's dropping back to pass, he's going, oh, gosh, this is a big play. This is prime time. Mm-hmm. Oh, my gosh. Oh, let me step up in the pocket. This is a big play. This is prime time. That's what he's thinking. So yeah. Oh, no, Mike Florio's going to say something bad about me. This is prime time.
But he might anyway.
I don't necessarily like that. Okay, so here with Kirk Cousins, pocket passer, right? Again, there's not many guys on this list that aren't good athletes at this point. But Kirk Cousins is a guy that, he's not making a living scrambling. He's a decent thrower of the football on the run, but that's not what he's going to do. Kirk Cousins is going to beat you within the pocket with aggressive decision-making. He is the ultimate, I've seen the coverage, I diagnosed it, I'm coming up firing, and I'm not looking for any Charlie checkdowns or anything like that. That's what I like about Kirk Cousins' game. Very good mindset. Arm is better than I think it gets credit for. And why do I say that? Well, yes, is it Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Tom Brady? No, it's not in that class, but it's really damn good to where Kirk Cousins can make a lot of throws off his back foot or people at his feet. I mean, if you want to go back and watch the Eagles game last year. He's backed up in the end zone on a third down and throws a bomb down the right sideline while he's getting killed, I think, by Fletcher Cox. Huge play, momentum play, changing game type play. He does that under pressure. Hey, go back and watch the Green Bay Packers game. Tell me he didn't make some unbelievable throws in that game, especially the one I believe that tied it late in the fourth quarter when he throws it on the right side and somebody hits him in the knee but still has enough ability to turn, throw it, has a very flexible, fluid arm like that, which I like. And he throws a ball into the cover 2 hole shot right into the 1 yard line, almost gets intercepted, but he squeezed it in there to tie the game up. They were down, 14 or 16 in the fourth quarter in Lambeau? That doesn't happen very much. The game ended up being a tie. So Kirk Cousins can make the throws and plays, in my opinion, and my evaluation, that can change a game. Now, people are going to look at last year and go, well, they fell off. Oh, they were better with Case Keenum. This was such a bad investment. I mean, bullshit. Bullshit. I'm going to fight back against that notion. I don't want to hear it. I don't like it. I don't think it's fair. It's a team sport, 1. Number 2, Kirk Cousins was 30 touchdown passes, 10 interceptions last year with one of the 5 or 6 worst run games in football.
Yeah.
With one of the 5 or 6 worst offensive lines in football. Oh, that's right. The offensive line coach died before the season started. God rest his soul. Tony Sparano, excuse me. I mean, that can cause some issues on your offense. Okay, let's take that into account. Let alone they were banged up front. I mean, he got killed last year. Okay, so then there's that aspect. The defense didn't play as good. Oh, that's right. The offensive coordinator got fired halfway through the year. Must have not been doing that good of a job. Okay, but yet we're all going to blame it on Kirk Cousins.
And they were still right there in the last week of the season, right?
Right there to be had. Yeah. Yes, they could have won the game and got in the playoffs. And yeah, so I don't necessarily like that. I think Kirk Cousins is definitely smart. He's a big-time thrower of the football, and I mean that in the way of not necessarily like 60-yard bombs and lasers all over the football field, but, 10-yard out, bam, on the money. Slant route, bam, on the money. 15-yard in cut, bam, on the money. He can put the ball wherever he wants it, and he can do it from, different delivery points as well. Now, because of that aggressive nature, the negatives of Kirk Cousins are, he has some interceptions every year where I'm going to go, that is full Tropic Thunder right there. Like, I don't know how you do that. How could you be that smart? And there's one that comes into my mind in the Bears game on a Monday night or Sunday night football game where he throws the ball. It's like a slot corner route to the sideline. He comes up, he had already made his mind up, which is what I talked about. I love his decision-making and his ability to process information. But every now and then, you're not going to be right on that all the time. Right. And Gruden would always go, see throws. Because, you might turn your head or look somewhere else, and things have changed, to where you saw earlier, right? And every now and then, there's a few games where I look at it and go, damn, he just came up throwing. There was 4 defenders there. What the hell was that?
But not that often. If what you said is correct.
It was 10 interceptions.
Only 10 last year.
Yes.
Every quarterback, no matter his name, is allowed 8, 10 of those a year most of the time.
100%. 100%. We're talking
guys are going to have magical seasons, and Brady does it all the time, where they only throw 6, 7, 8 picks. But, if a guy only throws 10.
With no running game.
Good. Yeah, right?
I know. That's, the way he played last year, not a real creative offense, no run game, no pass protection. The ball was going to 2 people, Thielen or Diggs. That's all it was. It was either Thielen or Diggs. Diggs or Thielen. Diggs or Thielen. Thielen or Diggs. Okay, that's all they did. That's all they had on offense. Oh, screen to Dalvin Cook. Whoa, okay, great. So, I wasn't sitting there watching film going, whoa, the creativity of this offense.
Right.
A lot of the stats and yards that were accumulated in the pass game by the Minnesota Vikings were done with pure physical ability of Kirk Cousins, Thielen, and Diggs, just getting it done because they're the good players. Now, that's why they had weeks of the Buffalo Bills where you go, man, the Buffalo Bills just totally shut down that offense and made them, because they were all over some of the things and tendencies the Vikings did, to where, he couldn't even pull it out because they knew, on 3rd and 10, they're going to throw to Diggs or Thielen. Let's just take them away and let's see if he can do something. They were all over some of that stuff, to where, their physical ability couldn't overcome some of the other defenses that were not only well coached but had talent on them as well, like the Chicago Bears.
Right.
But when it was a little bit more tipped in the scales of being even, then we saw he could move the ball and make plays.
You mentioned they had an offensive coordinator fired halfway through the season.
Right.
I think he has one of the bright young stars at coordinator now in Kevin Stefanski.
Right.
He's not a big name in the league yet.
I know.
I think he's going to be.
He's a riser. I hear a lot of positive things about him. I don't know a lot about him.
Yeah.
But Stefanski, it seems like, there's potential. And then you got a guy like Kubiak there with Rick Dennison to kind of help out, add 2 cents.
I thought they always had, when Gary really had it going in Houston, they had a play-action rollout game that was just, like, you watch it and you're like, damn, I wish I could have played in that.
No doubt.
Right?
Yes. And that, it's the Shanahan aspect of it and all of that, because Kyle was down there, OC with Kubiak. But yes,
so maybe he can work some of that in,
And I think that's where that's probably why they got Kubiak, because they said, damn, our guy, Kirk Cousins, we're giving him $27 million a year for, was great under McVay and Shanahan. Oh, Kubiak's in that same school. Kubiak was the head coach for Shanahan, who was the OC of the Houston Texans. And, of course, Kubiak was underneath Mike Shanahan. So I thought that was probably part of the reasoning of bringing him up there. He can install some of the concepts that we saw Cousins be so good with McVay and Shanahan prior to Minnesota and Washington, D.C.
Side note to Cousins and Foles before him, you mentioned Russell Wilson in this podcast as well. Those are all 3 later round picks from 2012.
Right.
And RG3 and Andrew Luck were in that class as well. It's just, I always find that class because it's
a fascinating class.
It's a wonderful class.
Yeah.
Because we talked about quarterbacks with the draft in a number of ways the last few weeks. And most of the classes, it's like, okay, a couple guys hit. Boy, those were giant mistakes.
Yeah, right.
That 2012 class from start to finish was really special.
Insane. I don't think I really realized it until just the last few days when I put this list together, the rookie quarterback list. I started to look, and I went, it dawned on me. I just went, oh my gosh, 2012 was pretty damn special.
And one of those guys who was with them down at the Senior Bowl is no longer playing, but as an offensive coordinator in the league already, and Kellen Moore. He was in that class of 2012.
He was that class too. Yeah. I never would have thought of that, but that's amazing. I mean, Kellen Moore had a phenomenal college career and hung around for a few years in the NFL.
Right. Any other lists or pictures of Tom Petty or anything? Porn names?
I don't. Ooh. So
the question was, for those who couldn't hear it, and everybody but the two of us couldn't hear it.
You guys couldn't hear it at home?
So with the Vikings, Kirk Cousins a better record or Foles with the Jaguars this year?
I'm going to go with Foles and the Jaguars. I am.
Because you like the quarterback better or the team better?
No, I just like the Jacksonville Jaguars team better. I think the Jaguars defense is special, like a special group of talent. I think with their offensive line, last year they got really banged up. Fournette was having a hard time staying healthy. They got banged up a little bit at receiver. And then they had a quarterback who couldn't make enough plays when things weren't going good to kind of get them back on the right side of the momentum conversation. I just look at Jacksonville as a team that I think is going to be special. Minnesota, I think, is very good, but damn, that division is good.
Oh, yeah,
okay?
Right?
And I still, I got to kind of see it to believe it with Minnesota still. Minnesota is on that, last, I think, edge of their shelf life of this football team. They were kind of in the window the last 4 or 5 years, and now we're getting to that 6th year of that window where I want to start going, ooh, where are we in that window?
This version of the potentially good team.
How much better can they really be, or this is kind of what they are, that fringe wild card, we make the playoffs, 1 year we're the 2 seed, but then we go back to missing, whatever it is. I just don't know. I'm not sure about the Vikings. I want to see how Stefanski works out.
Yep.
I want to see that run game work. So, I'm going to go with Jacksonville right now.
All right.
Yep.
That works for me.
That's cool. We got to give a shout out to Roto World.
Yeah?
Yep. And
yes,
I think
we do. That's right.
I think you're supposed to read that part, but I can read too. If you want.
They teach you that in Texas?
I'm a good reader. I'm gooder than you.
Roto World Football Podcast with friend of the program, Josh Norris.
Yeah. Oh,
underrated in our business.
Come on, Josh Norris.
Does a good job with everything.
I mean, I talk to Josh a few times a week because Josh, he's not only good on the podcast, he lives football.
Studies it and loves it.
Loves it. I mean, he is living it, and when you have people who are studying the game like that, you're going to get good information thrown your way.
His last pod was NFL GM Power Rankings. To note, he did not have Dave Gettleman last.
What? He's insane.
I hear people around here yelling. Yeah.
I wouldn't have Gettleman last either, so that I'm on his side there.
NBA Draft Preview Show with Ahmed Fareed, your friend.
Yeah,
our friend
of the podcast. Right? What, are you not friends with him? Just me, huh?
I meant that you hang out with him on the podcast. Yeah. I like him.
He's the guy
well.
I cheat on. Guy. I cheat on him.
I know.
I cheat on you with him.
You have multiple other partners.
I do.
You're that kind of guy.
I've
had better.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's right where we started, isn't it?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. All right, NBC Sports, youtube.com/NBC Sports and rotoworld.com.
All right.
There it is.
Yep.
Happy Father's Day this weekend.
Yeah, you too, man.
Yeah.
Good old Big Willie Grand over here.
Don't leave out the
David
big. Don't leave out the big. Yeah.
We're done for this podcast. We have had enough, and I've talked so much today. I am sick of hearing myself. I can't even.
I'm not tired of it yet.
I'm tired.
I might call you on the drive home.
Okay, I'm not going to answer. It's going to be on silent. Yeah, it's silent today. But all right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. You know where to get at me if you want to watch this and see it on the computer screen. YouTube.com/NBC Sports. Please send comments. Let's talk. Let's talk about the quarterback thing. Anything specific questions, I am welcoming the conversation. I am not here to tell you that I am like God and everything I've written is in stone, okay? I understand I can be wrong, and if you can bring some good points to prove me I'm wrong, then I'm all for saying I'm wrong.
I think those are called complaints.
Your complaints. Yes, exactly right. But everybody have a good weekend. Happy Father's Day. Enjoy the U.S. Open golf. I'm pumped to see that.
And the PLL this weekend.
And the PLL, you know.
You get tired of golf a little bit, flip over.
Are you going to be there?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 games Saturday, 1 Sunday. Saturday afternoon, NBCSN. Sunday afternoon,
right.
NBC.
Watch the Bidmeister there, okay? Yep. All right, peace out, everyone. See ya. Yo, what's up? Come on, man. Subscribe on YouTube to Chris Sims Unbuttoned Podcast. I need you. Please hit the subscribe button, please.